You're one of the highest ranking people at Facebook. Have you faced a more difficult time, do you believe, in your career because you're a woman in power? Have you faced sexism in the workplace? Have you faced an uneven playing field?
I am very fortunate to work at a company that's led by Mark and Cheryl, where I have felt nothing but opportunity. And in many ways, I think it's been advantageous to be a woman in tech, because there are few and far between. And I think that women have very important skills to bring to this new age of how companies need to operate. Women are empathetic, they're more collaborative, and I have found it to be a real advantage. Certainly, if I look back at my 20 plus years of career, there have been times where being a woman has been very difficult. I am still often the only woman in many meetings. I get on many meetings. I get online to get to the airport, and I happen to have pretty high status on United because I fly them all the time. But if I'm with my husband, they automatically assume he is the frequent flyer, and they'll call him up, and he's there. He's like, "No, it's my wife." And so there's stereotypes every single day. But what I'm really most proud of is watching my two daughters grow up and see it through the lens of their eyes, which is that, you know, they really believe anything is possible, and they both have big dreams. And that's, at the end of the day, what I need to give to them is a sense that anything is possible.
Women in tech, 26% of all tech jobs in the United States are held by women. Why is that still the case in 2016?
We have made very little progress in women in tech, and it's really a funnel problem, starting at the earliest ages in education. If you look at what jobs are going to be available over the course of the next few years, the jobs that are available today, we have well over 1 million, almost 1.4 million jobs in computer science that are completely available, that we will go unfilled. And part of it is a pipeline issue of getting enough women interested in math and science at an early stage. That is why efforts with Girls Who Code, and even the efforts with Girls Inc. that are bringing in and trying to motivate young girls to stay with math and science is incredibly important.
Should computer programming, coding, be mandatory in school?
I think computer science should be mandatory. Yeah. I do. I think it should be a requirement, even if it is one semester, to expose. Why do I think that? It is going to be part and parcel to almost every industry. If you think about where healthcare is going, software is going to be a huge driver of that. Cars. If you talk to any of the CEOs in the automotive industry, they talk of themselves as a software company.
Right.
Travel, every industry is being reinvented, and if we want to create a population that is ready, not only for the jobs that are open today, but going to be increasingly open, we are going to need people that have some sensitivity and knowledge and not be afraid of what computers can bring.
Do you believe that it is an issue, it comes down to America's competitiveness?
There is no question that we are going to be very uncompetitive as a society in America if we do not invest more significant resources in computer science education starting from a young age.
33% of Facebook's global employees are women. 27% of women hold leadership positions. You're getting there, right? I know it's a constant challenge in the industry. You've talked a lot about unconscious bias and how much that plays a role. How do leaders fix that?
There is unconscious bias in everyone. And so part of the first thing that we have done is acknowledge that everyone has some type of unconscious bias. And by talking about that and sharing what people's unconscious biases are, we've tried to take this, the bias of talking about it out of the system. And so we're trying to hit it head on. Our belief is that while we are, proud of the fact that we're getting there, and clearly we have so many efforts to spearhead how we think about diversity and inclusion in our employee base, we won't be there until 50% of the women are in leadership roles, and 50% of our entire workforce has the ability to get to a leadership role if they're a female.
Silicon Valley has led the way in parental leave. Facebook offers 4 months for new fathers and mothers. Why do you think it is that Silicon Valley has led ahead of any other industry on parental leave?
We care deeply about diversity and inclusion. It is core to our culture. If you think about the community of people we serve, 1.7 billion people, if the fabric of our employee base doesn't represent diversity, then we are not doing our consumers service. And so we think about diversity and inclusion and look at all barriers that could prevent people from staying in the workforce, being attracted to come work at our company. And so we care deeply. We have, announced that men and women get paid the same in like jobs. We have equal parental leave for females and males. We have a recharge policy where after 5 years, people can take 4 weeks off. And our view is that you need to have a culture that is sustainable, that drives high performance.
You are a mother of twin girls, right?
Yes.
Obviously, having people out of work for 4 months at a time, new parents, there is a significant cost associated with that. Clearly, Facebook has done the calculus that it is worth the cost for retention, right? I mean, walk me through the business case for giving employees that much time.
If you think about the business case, we have about 14,000 people working at Facebook, and we're growing, pretty quickly each year. We want to have a culture that absolutely attracts the very best talent. As I said, people are the most important asset of a company. And so if you deeply believe that people are your most important asset, you do all this work to recruit them in, then once they get in, you need to think about creating an environment that they can thrive, that they can have it be sustainable, that they can achieve not only exceptional results at work, but also have an extraordinary life outside of work. There is a high correlation between people's overall happiness and their productivity at work.